Williams veers left, pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11.109. Now SGA probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kendrick Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
Yes, you are Kendrick Williams, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Topic Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Huntsinger at Thunder Chats. We're part of the B-Weave Network, and this podcast is brought to you by BetOnline.ag. Now that's out of the way, we've got two very important things to address. First of all, we've got a quad pod, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 4 members of the unit here. It's always a special time when that happens. But also, the Oklahoma City Thunder are 5-0 with a victory tonight over the Portland Trail Blazers. Cleveland Cavaliers also won tonight, so they are one of 2 undefeated teams. But before we get into any more of that, I've got to introduce the members of the Quad Pod. First of all, we got, to my right, Brady Bunch style, the man that is hanging out in Wayne Manor. He's got a hat for the first time, I think, in podcast history. Alex Roy. What up, Alex?
What up, man? I only get hats whenever they're free, so I got this one at the Thunder game, so might as well rock it. I have an almond-shaped head, so they don't really look good on in hats.
What's an almond-shaped head?
So specific.
It's like an almond.
Just say oval. Almond.
Okay, oval.
It has
I love that.
Sorry. I'm a little bit brown. Almonds are a little bit brown. Like, I mean,
an almond. That's awesome.
All right, and the man that is bothered by comparisons to certain types of nuts, Matt Tierney. What up?
No, it's just I'm not bothered at all. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. I am good.
Almond Joy.
Almond Joy. I think this is also my debut of hat wearing. We're just wearing hats today. I'm wearing mine because I have a bad hair day, so that's why. But
Me too.
Yeah, I didn't shower before this, so I didn't want people to be seeing that on the live. I know, gross, right? So anyway, I'm here. It's the Quad Fathers, as Michael has said in the chat.
You were going to shower on the live?
Yeah, that was the plan, and then I decided
because we have the label.
Yeah.
If you want to increase viewership, I mean, hey, let's go.
I think, Alex, that's going in the opposite direction, my friend. That's going the opposite direction. No, I'm good. Yeah, I hate these West Coast games are tough, dude. We're here though.
Prime time.
How about you, Steve? Are they tough for you?
Yeah, he's
prime time, baby.
He's prime
it's
time.
Like 5 o'clock in the afternoon over there, right?
I love it. These are the only games I get to watch, like part of it after the kids go to bed. The second half with peace and quiet. It's great. Love it. I apologize to the podcast. I do not own a hat, nor do I know which shape of nut is most similar to my head.
You look more like
letting everyone down.
You look more
cashew.
like a cashew. Yeah, I'd say a cashew.
Freaking walnut.
Hey, Drew in the chat. Yeah, shout out Drew. I am also EST. It is currently 12:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right now.
Dylan's on the midnight oil, literally at this point.
I'm getting up in 6 hours to play flag football, so it's a great time.
That's a team player right there.
Yeah, it's a great time. But hey, I'm happy to be here because Dolan's here. Always got to put on whenever Dolan's on the podcast. He's happy to be here, I'm sure. And
it's true.
Also, just excited to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. And like we said, they went 5-0. They beat the Portland Trail Blazers. It was a more entertaining game than I had ever bargained for, given what we've seen from both teams so early in the season. But we ended up winning. And we're going to talk about it now. The segment we like to call the single large item. All right, single large item. You guys know the deal. We are going to pick something that stood out to us in this game and then kind of wrap it up with leftovers at the end. I usually start with Dolan just because it's a Dolan pod, but since Alex wore the hat, I'm going to give him the honors. Since he has the almond-shaped head, we're going to let him go first.
Don't be wearing hats. That's what you get.
So my single large item is, so last year like we were like the goody two shoes of the league. As far as like getting technicals and stuff like that, we never got technicals. We never. So far this season, Lou Dort has gotten a technical. Mark Dagnall has gotten a technical. But I think the dub tech in this game was kind of the turning point in that third quarter. We've heard that, you hear that, whenever players get technicals, whenever coaches get technicals, that, a team makes a run here or there. And so it was good to see, because number one, he did get fouled. The replay showed that he did get fouled. He got raked across the arm. And then number two, just, hey, in the spur of the moment, in that moment right there, it needed to be told to the referees that, hey, they're being physical on us and you're allowing it. On the other end, you're not allowing it. And it was good for that to come out at that time. And it actually lit the spark for the team. And from that point on in the third quarter, the Thunder completely dominated. Once again, you have another game where it's nip and tuck there for a little bit. And then, the switch gets flipped and, we see what happens. They went from being only up by 3 at that time whenever Dub got the tech, to, I believe, leading by 21 by the end of the quarter. Mm-hmm. And I think Dub got the tech with like 6 minutes left. So like we were halfway through the third quarter whenever it happened. So for that to happen at that moment, I thought it was good. I thought it was good for the Thunder to show emotion. And I thought it was good for the team and for the psyche of the team at that moment to get that tech, to build off of that, and to kind of push past the difficulty of this game and go forward with that.
Yeah, that was going to be my single large item too, because it was probably one of the best decisions Dub can make was get a tech right there, because that just fired up the team. Mm-hmm. And just like they went off. It was 5:52. And they were up by 2 after the tech free throw.
Yeah.
And yeah, they ended up with 21 point lead. And a lot of it was like, so much of that was Aaron Wiggins. When you go back and sort of like put together everything that happened, he was getting multiple threes. He was getting multiple offensive rebounds. Shea was obviously in that mix too. But yeah, that whole 6-minute stretch was the reason that the starters didn't have to play in the fourth quarter. We need to have some type of name for this, because I feel like it's going to happen a lot. We kind of had it with the Hawks too. We need something like the Avalanche with the Warriors when they were in their prime. That was what we called that. I don't know what we want to call it, like a thunderstorm or something like that. We need to kind of workshop that name. But I think
it's been workshopped. Good job.
But something like that, it was just awesome to see that just snap of a finger immediately goes from a close game to not even close.
Cloud break, is that what it is when it just comes down hard all of a sudden?
A cloud break. We need to get a meteorologist.
That's what it is.
Yeah, straight line winds.
Mike Moore, if you're listening to the podcast, we could use your knowledge.
It's a downdraft.
Downdraft. We'll figure it out, but.
Cloudburst. That's
a cloudburst.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what it is in the.
It doesn't sound like a bad term. Yeah.
Yeah. Storm burst or a thunderstorm burst, something like that. But
Mammutus clouds.
Something we need to because this is going to recur often throughout the season, especially with bad teams.
Thank you for listening to Topic Meteorology.
Topic Meteorology. Everyone loves to talk meteorology.
But yeah, no, I was just going to say, I mean, kind of coupling off what you're talking about with the tech, like just overall this game, I ain't never seen Dub act like this. Like he was moving different in this game. Like he was flying, like floating up the court, like with ease and grace that we haven't seen all season. And I think that you could really tell that I think his ankle's like all the way better now. Like I think he's 100% now. Like he's slowly ratcheted up his level of play these last 5 games, and like tonight was really good, super efficient, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, hit 4 threes. So great to see that back into action. But the tech for one, but also there was a little moment in the game where the ball went out of bounds, and people are saying like retroactively it was the Blazers owner. He wouldn't give the ball to Jalen Williams, and visibly like bothered Dub. Like he was mad.
He gave him the eye.
Like,
he gave him the look.
Yeah, like he got the ball, and before he passed it in, he went back at him one more time. And I mean, I love it. Like I love like villain and J-Dub. It's making me happy. You know, maybe we call him Santa around December time, but if he keeps acting like that, he's gonna be the Grinch.
Krampus.
Yes.
Someone in the chat said going F5 like a tornado, and I feel like there's a link there between like the 5-man roster and the Storm, but I just wanted to
going ham.
Also F5 like refresh on the computer.
Could be a little double entendre.
It's a triple entendre.
A triple entendre. There's something. There's something.
Thunder break the Fujita scale.
The Fujita scale. Yeah, that was the moment for sure.
Yeah, that I went back and looked, and there were, I think the Thunder forced 11 turnovers in the third quarter.
I think it was 10, right?
Well, I counted 10,
Unless
but
you
then there
count.
was an offensive goaltending that counts as a team turnover.
Oh, nice.
11.
Even better. Okay, great.
Which is crazy. And because I was, the score was 68-68 at halftime, which is unlike us to allow that many points. They were 50% from three. So, like, it happens. But they only forced 4 turnovers in the first half. So that's a number that I was looking at. I was like, that's weird. Like, felt a little bit like they were kind of conserving energy, maybe a little bit, but just forcing only 4 turnovers for this team is exceptionally low. So to come out in the next quarter and force 11 is like, get back on track.
I think there's also something to be said about the fact that Portland just had a really good shooting half. I think they were making much more shots than they should have been.
Sure. But the thing about forcing turnovers is they don't get to shoot.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't have a drive, you just shoot it from the outside, and you're just like.
But also, it's like it was the formula that we had in the playoffs. Like we weren't guarding guys that aren't supposed to be able to shoot. Like Ray Repair. Like we harped on him all draft cycle about how he couldn't shoot. He knocked down 3 corner threes in the second quarter. Like.
Yeah,
you can't drives.
Yeah, just
between Rupair and Tumani Kamara.
Yeah,
I love Tumani Kamara though.
He's good. I'm a believer for sure. But yeah, Clemente mentioned it. It was a little too soon for my liking, but he mentioned the PJ. We were getting PJ Washingtoned in the first half, so that's kind of what it felt like. And I was very offended.
Too soon.
I mentioned it to him. I was very offended by that. Not really, but. It was a very astute observation, very good comparison for what that first half was. But yeah, I think when you have stuff like that, the turnovers are harder to come by. You just can't really get them out of their comfort zone when they're making that level of shots. I think they were like, if I remember correctly, almost 50% from three. They ended up 43%, so not that much worse. But they were hitting them. But that second half, the mentality changed, especially that 6-minute period we just talked about.
Yeah, I would say, like, I'm gonna go ahead and like kind of go to my single edge item on this because I think obviously the game changed in the third quarter. Like that's very obvious, but there's a lot of reasons why it changed. It was the dub tech, it was the forcing the turnovers, but one of the guys that was the catalyst in like spearheading those turnovers, freaking Lou Dort in the third quarter, man. He played 8 minutes, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 4 steals, and 1 block in 8 minutes of action in the third quarter. Like, and those rebounds, like, you look at the stat sheet, you're like, oh, 2 rebounds. Like, no, he was up like 10 feet in the air, battling with DeAndre Ayton, ripping the ball out of his hands. Like, I've never seen Lou Dort, like, play, like, obviously he's an aggressive player. Obviously he's a physical player, but, like, so aggressively physical, but, like, down to a science because like it wasn't like gambles when he was going for these steals. It's like I'm going to out physical you and get that basketball, and it happened again and again and again. And I would say most of the time, like I went back and counted it. I think we shot 55% from the field in the third quarter. Like most of those turnovers that Lou Dort created, we were able to get a bucket out of them, and I mean that was as much of anything. A catalyst for flipping the game on its head in the third.
Yeah,
Lou Dort made DeAndre Ayton look incredibly soft.
Very small, very small and weak.
He was
man.
just like bullying him. The time when they threw the entry pass, and I think it was Dub like tried to slap it away by fronting and missed it, and then Lou Dort just came like flying in, and just the way he grabbed the ball, and DeAndre Ayton just like accepted that it was grab.
You can have it.
Didn't even try to do
I
anything.
invite you.
Just like, oh, a jump ball.
It's like when it's like, oh, sorry. Oh, here you go. Oh, sorry.
It was so sad.
Downright competent.
Handling him.
Yeah, I want Dylan. I think put up the comment. Downright competent is.
I didn't mean to. My bad.
Okay. Yeah,
I was very in the lead there. I meant to click on this one.
Yeah, Lou was breathing fire. He was. Yeah, that third quarter before the what will be the famous tech foul that gave us this win. Before that, Lou was completely just wreaking havoc on this Portland offense. And I think that's what ultimately set the tone for the physicality and the fun second half that we had. He had all four of his steals were in the third quarter. It was great.
And the beautiful thing is that this all occurred whenever Chet was on the bench because he had foul trouble.
Yeah.
Like we went completely small. Yeah, we went completely small. We weren't even going to hide it, and they tried to expose that. They tried to have DeAndre Ayton, and we swarmed everything. It was just it was Lou Dort. It was everybody just kind of swarming. Lou Dort doing an amazing job on Simons, just completely taking him out of the game.
Yes.
Yeah. And he had like 2 steals, but like these 2 steals were like, it wasn't, pick your pocket. No, it was, hey, you're driving in, hey, I'm taking the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm going the other way. And that's a bull. That's a bulldog out there. And if he continues with this, like the NBA and all of its people, all of its media have they can't look away from that. Like he has to be considered not just for all defense, but like depoy, because he sets the stage. I mean, I know Chet is out there, and Chet is probably more of the anchor, but you have a perimeter anchor and you have a interior anchor, and Lou Dort is our perimeter anchor and has been for 3+ years now. But yeah, what he did out there in the third quarter just kind of set the stage along with everything else that happened as far as, Dub getting the tech and moving on from there.
It was calculated physicality is what I want to call it.
I like that.
Yeah, because I mean, and like you were saying, it was a lot of guys. Like whenever Chet went off the floor, like everybody stepped up. Like Shea has kind of been like, pseudo one of the biggest guys on the court whenever we play small sometimes. But in this instance, it was Dort, it was Shea, and it was Dub. There was one instance where Dub broke up a lob from DeAndre Ayton. Him and Caruso were in a volleyball tip match trying to get the ball back. He saved the ball out of bounds to Caruso, went down the other end of the court and knocked down a midi. Like those effort plays are what get you back into basketball games. And the Thunder have it in spades, man. Like, and it goes back to like, this is a different point, but it goes back to all the rebuilding years of building a culture and building a winning culture and a team that doesn't just roll over when things get tough, whenever they get down. Like we went through the dog years of, making all these like double-digit comebacks whenever we weren't good. Now we're good, but we know how to come back when we get in those situations. We wasn't even down double digits. People were acting like the sky was falling when we was tied to the Blazers at halftime. Like there was still 24 minutes of basketball left to be played. But when you get in those situations, we've been there before. We know how to get out of it.
Yeah. I don't think if you were watching that game, I don't think you were ever worried. T and Drew also mentioned something kind of related to this with Chet coming out, playing the small ball lineup we had when Chet came off, and being able to play Ayton and Klingon and their other bigs off of the court and kind of play to our, I guess, quote unquote preferred way with the situation we had was like that's a type of I don't know. That's just something that is going to be incredibly impactful with this team, is being able to be like, hey, we can roll out 5 guards and just play to our style, and you have to do it. Speaking of, by the way, this is a bit of an aside. It's worth mentioning the 5 guard lineup of it was, if I remember correctly, Shea, Kaysen, Caruso, Dylan Jones, and AJ Mitchell in that second quarter. That was a crazy lineup, and it actually worked. So the fact that these lineups are working, granted, it's the Portland Trailblazers. They're not the best defense, but the fact that it did work in that
we ran
situation.
zone when we did that.
We ran zone, yeah.
Yeah, and it was pretty sure it was a net positive. I don't remember.
Dylan Jones was the low man in the middle too, in the 2-3 zone.
Yeah.
That was going to be my single large item, so I'll just jump in. Is that
the
Thunder? It's not that, you know, it's nice to be able to go small, like to have that tool in the toolbox whenever you want to force a mismatch or something. But the Thunder had no choice tonight, right? Like Chet got he had 4 fouls immediately after halftime, so they pulled him out with like 10 minutes left, and the Thunder had no other big. Like Jalen Williams, Kenrich Williams, and Hartenstein are all hurt. Malevi Leons is, I don't think, ready or thick enough to play center properly.
He's Ooz's size,
Ooze
bro.
out there for some of it, but for some of the minutes they didn't even have Oos out there. And it's like there were 30 minutes of this game where the Blazers had a 7-footer on the court and the Thunder did not have a big in the game. And just because of the aggressiveness and like the swarming nature of how they played and, you know, having each other's backs, the Thunder were able to not only survive those minutes, but extend the lead from 3 to 21, like in that third quarter. It's just insane. Like, teams are not supposed to be able to do that. And I know the Blazers suck. Okay. Like we should probably mention that at some point. The Blazers are not a good basketball team, but they had a 7-footer out there and the Thunder rendered that irrelevant.
They also just beat the Clippers, who have been pretty good. So I mean, they're not, you know.
That's my second large item. Is did we really want to win this game? Because I mean, we really hurt our lottery odds by knocking the Blazers below the Clippers with this stuff. I don't know.
It's all right. We can
should have
fix it tomorrow.
We'll make it up tomorrow. We'll just make it up tomorrow.
Could have really buried the Clippers tonight.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely something to consider. Maybe we'll go talk to Adam Silver and be like, hey, let's reverse this. Let's give him the win.
Third quarter didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think we would still win the game if the third quarter didn't happen.
Yeah, probably.
But we would not have gotten to pull all our rotation players with 7 minutes.
Back-to-back, yeah.
We would have won by 2 if the third quarter didn't happen.
Yeah, a lot of that was garbage time too, but you know.
It was cool that Mark got to do that, and he did it pretty early, right? It was like 6.5 minutes when he pulled everybody, and I think they were up 20, and he probably had it built in like, okay, if this lead shrinks down to 10, we can put him back in and play the last 3 minutes, but I'm going to steal at least 3 minutes of rest here.
Shea didn't play.
He ended up being able to steal 7.
Yeah.
No,
Shea didn't play the whole fourth.
No, not at all.
He kept Isaiah Joe out there for some reason. That was a little bit weird.
Yeah, Joe was just to keep some points going on the board.
Yeah,
usually it's Kaysen that's out there with the young guys, and it started to be like that, but then they subbed him out and put Joe in. I was like, why?
Just get some shots.
I think it might just be that he's trying to get some shots up and find his rhythm. He's been a little.
He's not been there yet. Yeah, I've been cooking up a list of like overreactions for each player, and Isaiah Joe's been one of the ones that I've been worried about the shot. But yeah,
shot 3 of 8 tonight. That's pretty solid.
It's not bad, but it's just I think it's just it's an overreaction. Just a little worried.
I don't want to overreact, but
maybe
we're not doing this every episode.
I'm throwing it in right now.
I don't want to overreact, but we're doing overreactions too much.
We'll just overreact every podcast. That's our brand now.
Yeah. Tierney, what's your single large item?
I don't know, dude. We've hit so many things. Let me fire up the. Oh, I know what we haven't talked about. J-Dub, first half, pretty good. He was pretty good. I think he ended up with 17 points at the half. He ended up with 22. Didn't play. Well, he played 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. Didn't play most of the fourth quarter. He was the entire initial offense for this team. It was a little bit of a breath of or sigh of relief because not that we didn't think he was capable of it, but he hasn't really like consistently put together stretches in the regular season where he can take over games or be the main part of the offense. And I thought that first quarter was a big, just a big part of him kind of coming out into the season and being like, hey, I am an all-star caliber player. I'm capable of finishing, capable of creating my own shots. And he ended up making his first 4 or 5 in a row, something like that. But yeah, it was a great little J-Dub day, five in a row, Dylan says. So yeah, shout out Dub. He kind of didn't need to do as much in the second half because, Dort and Wiggins and Shea and those guys were kind of doing what they needed to do, and it was fine. But that first half, he was the main thing. Also, he made a buzzer beater at halftime, and I'm pretty sure he just like told a fan to like shut the F up or something like that, which
love it.
Kind of got us fired up a little bit too. Love that clip. Couldn't really read the actual lips, but he was talking trash.
We know the F word was in there.
It was in there. We saw that loud and clear. So shout out Dub. He had a good game tonight. Even though on the stat sheet, like Shea was better overall. I think Dub was probably or definitely number 1 in the first half in terms of like offensive contributions. So
yeah, I would say that if you're gonna say that, I said there's a lot of things in the third quarter that helped us win this basketball game. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's offensive output, or just Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in general, but like his offensive output in the third quarter was kind of ridiculous, and it was
first half. It was what I was saying, not total game.
No. Yeah, I'm just saying I'm like qualifying it because like he had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal in the third quarter. He shot 5 of 7 from the field. The only 2 that he missed was the threes. And I know everybody's freaking out about Shea shooting so many threes, and we can talk about that if you want to.
Plug it.
Yeah,
drop the article and link in the description.
I did write an article saying why you're probably overreacting about Shea's threes, but
good read.
These threes aren't even pull-up threes that he did. One of them was a step back, which he absolutely cooked to Monty Kamara on in the corner on one. And then the other one was like just a ticking time bomb at the end of the shot clock. And he missed both of them. But the other one's like getting to the rim at will, nasty mid-range shots. Finishing was absolutely insane. And, everybody likes to call, like all the people outside of Oklahoma City likes to call Shea a foul merchant, free throw merchant. He made 5 free throws tonight. He only made 1 3. The rest of his points, 25 points, he shot 11 of 12, not 25 points, 22 points. He shot 11 of 12 from the 2-point range. That was the rest of his points. Like, that's not a free throw merchant. That's what you call a bucket merchant. Am I right, Dolan?
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Come on, Dolan. You're the one that came up
with
bucket
merchant. What are you doing? You're on a podcast right now.
Sheesh.
I was reading a tweet about OKC shooting. I'm sorry.
As a teacher, I love to just like hit students that are not paying attention and be like, is it just randomly call on them? I'm just gonna start doing that on Dolan now.
That was like when whenever Scoot threw that lob to DeAndre Ayton, and Ayton absolutely had the lane to dunk it, and he just like barely let it hit his hands and it banked in.
Dolan's over here reading tweets.
I mean, on that note,
my bad.
No, on that note, everybody is worried about his 3-point shooting, but he's doing the 50-90 part of the 50-40-90. Like he's shooting over 50% on twos. He's shooting over 90% on free throws. We just got to get that 3-point shooting up, and it doesn't even matter, man. Like honestly, like you wrote in the article, like if the volume is going to force defenses to change how they guard him and guard us as a team, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
His very first bucket, he came around the screen, going to the left, and started to pull up. And the guy had to respect it. And he jumped out, and Shea burned right around him and got that reverse layup.
Mm-hmm.
His very first bucket. So gravity's reputational, right? And people know Shea's going to pull those this year. And he's not going to shoot 20% on them all year. I mean, we saw in the preseason, he shot better than that. Like he's gonna have a game soon where he goes 4 for 7, and it's gonna make all the highlights. It's gonna be on SportsCenter top 10 plays if that's still a thing, and then everybody's gonna know, and they're gonna have to play him differently on these screens. It's gonna change everything.
Yeah, and I want to note, like I said in the article, like this was a close game. Like this was a tie game. We've had the benefit of playing like with not just leads, big leads. And so like Shea's really had no consequence to playing that way. When it came down to the nitty gritty, a couple things changed compared to like the last 2 games. And this can branch off to another discussion after talk about the Shea part. But Shea didn't start, like he didn't shoot threes. Like I said, in the third quarter, like one was like, absolutely created the advantage, deserved to shoot the 3. One was a ticking time bomb at the end of the shot clock. Every other bucket in the third quarter, whenever like he just pushed us to that lead after we came out of halftime tied, was all from the 2-point range, like mid-range to the rim. Like gets to his bread and butter when he needs to get to his bread and butter. The other thing that changed, guys, and I'm like, this is not hate at all. He's been phenomenal, especially given the value of where he was picked in the draft. AJ Mitchell has been awesome.
I mean, no disrespect, but that's kind of how you're going with that.
No, I'm just saying.
There's hate.
AJ Mitchell has had the benefit of playing almost exclusively with a lead. All right. Whenever we were tied, whenever we were down marginally, AJ Mitchell wasn't on the floor. And that's okay. That is okay. He came into a team that was championship ready. It's a miracle that he's got into the rotation at this point at all. And he's done great in those minutes. But at this point in the season, when we are down and we need to like work back and build and balloon a lead, Mark trusts his guys that, he's been to war with. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, like I said, whenever push comes to shove, whenever like you need to get to your bread and butter, we go to our bread and butter. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I do think, I think AJ was good in his minutes, but there was a couple of defensive possessions where I was a little bit worried about his rookie-ness, if that's a word. The Jeremy Grant 4-point play, that wasn't actually a 4-point play because he missed the free throw, but then
that's a rite of passage as a Thunder player to foul 3-point shooter, though.
Yeah, but it was just sort of like a bad foul, and he had another one too.
Welcome to the Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
He had another one too, second half. That was an and one. It was like, I don't know, it was just not a good. He just wasn't like set defensively, and I guess maybe we're a little bit spoiled with the defensive prowess of this team, but it didn't. It was just a little bit like, maybe let's let him sit a little bit more at this game, especially when it was closer. But besides that, like he's still been. I've been pretty happy with his performance.
But what better lab to grow in?
Yeah, I mean he's got the perfect situation.
Exactly. So it's either you're on a team that's so bad that they have to play you, or you're on a team that's so good that they play you, and even if you make mistakes, they have enough great players around you to kind of cover that up, and he's just in the best situation to where he can develop very nicely and without too much pressure on him. And if we get another Wiggins, man, that's a beautiful thing right there.
It's basically what we're looking at right now, potential another Wiggins. He can't keep getting away with it, as Jesse Pinkman would say.
He can and he will. All right, if you guys don't have any other single large items to talk about, let's kind of go over the leftovers here. And right off rip, I think there's 2 obvious ones, but we can start with the more traditional one. Casey Wallace, man. If he consistently came off the bench, I genuinely think he could be in the running for 6th man of the year, just given his impact. His
interesting.
Scoring, his shooting, his defense.
I had another 6th man of the year on this roster in mind.
I know who you're gonna say.
Our own Wiggins.
Yeah, I think Aaron Wiggins should not be in the starting lineup, not because he's not fit for it, but like his minutes off the bench are always so impactful. But yeah, I mean, Kaysen Wallace too. His shooting tonight especially was so good to see because he started off so slow. I think he hit his first 3. Wasn't his first 3 like last game, or was that
Yeah.
2 games ago? Yeah. So he's been pretty slow shooting wise, and so 3 of 5 of shooting was a very nice thing to see, because you're going to get the defense, but the offense was there as well as it was with most of the Thunder. So I could see Kaysen being a very, very impactful bench player alongside Aaron Wiggins.
As
He's
Kevin
been really
Garnett
good getting to his left hand at the rim.
Yeah.
He's been better at the rim this year, like, period. Like, I've been really impressed with his off the bounce game. You're starting to see shades of what you saw from him in high school and at Kentucky. Last year he was definitely more of like a 3-and-D player.
Oh,
but
did he play at Kentucky?
He did. He was he lost to Thunder legend Keontae Johnson in the tournament, so that was fun. But yeah, no, like, I mean, he's diversified his game a lot this year, and it's been a pleasure to see. Defensively, like, Dolan, how do you feel about the Cookie Monster nickname for Kaysen Wallace?
I like it. He's always got his hand in the jar.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I need to do a better job of pushing that on the social media end.
And when you threw to me right there, and my heart rate went up, I was like, I cannot let him down again.
Can't do it again.
I have to know what he's talking about.
I've already ignored him once by watching Twitter.
Yeah, he only had the one steal tonight, so I didn't get too many Cookie Monster tweets in there today, but he did have a really impressive block. He's getting a lot better at shot blocking as well.
That steal that Dort had on Ayton, that was cookie right there.
Yeah.
we should have one of those a game. Tonight's cookie steal of the game is.
I actually like that. I like that a lot.
Oh man.
We need to reach out to some cookie, like some dessert companies.
Chips Ahoy.
Are there any Oklahoma City based cookie makers?
We could get this sponsored so easily. There's so many sweet treat companies here locally. That's an idea. I'm writing that down. That's a great idea.
This part of the podcast needs to be scrubbed from history, and let's do this in secret.
Absolutely.
Absolutely is my word, Dolan.
Did I say it? Rubbing off on me.
Yep. Yeah. But no. And then that 1-3 by Kaysen. This is the last thing I gotta say about Kaysen. Shea got doubled with like 3 seconds left in the shot clock on the wing, and I couldn't tell off the replay. Did he nutmeg the guy when he passed it to Kaysen?
I think unintentionally.
I think he stretched out his leg trying to get to it, and it went through. It went through the 5-hole.
A nutmeg's a nutmeg, baby. So he nutmegged the defender.
Kaysen on the board.
Hit the corner 3 at the buzzer. It was beautiful. Beautiful sight.
This podcast has been tasty the last few minutes.
Hey, we was talking about freaking almonds at the beginning of the pod.
Almonds.
Yeah, we're just a food.
Nutmeg. This
food
actually
episode.
sounds like a good recipe we've got going on here.
Yeah.
Topic
What's that
bacon.
taste like?
This episode's been pretty nuts.
And dad jokes. Yeah.
Dylan, would you like to talk about Ousmane Dieng?
No, he wouldn't. Let's move on. My other single large.
I would be so pleased to talk about Ousmane Dieng. I'm very proud of him. First of all, I'm
very
very
proud. Yeah.
I thought the first shot in the second quarter was a 3, and then much to my chagrin, I go and look back, it was not.
Mm-hmm.
Made me very sad. But the corner 3 at the end of the third quarter, the buzzer beater, that was the most emotion I've seen out of Ousmane Dieng in his time in a Thunder jersey. And it was a beautiful sight to see. Played some good defense, got a couple of nice blocks. Or I think he was credited for one block. He got a block on Ray and Rupert on the fast break, which Cone said was my wet dream, and absolutely right.
Okay. We're on a live broadcast. Okay.
But also some really strong rebounds late in the game. In the fourth quarter, he got an offensive rebound on DeAndre Ayton, further proving how soft he is, because I love Ousmane Dieng, but come on, DeAndre Ayton's twice your size. But also, man, just playing with force and aggression. Like, he had 2 dunks tonight. One of them was like a full extension, one-hand spike. One of them was probably the softest poster I've ever seen in my entire life, but it was still on somebody at the end of the game. And I couldn't be more happy for Ousmane Dieng, because everybody, everybody in the fan base had wrote this guy off over the offseason. And I was even a doubter of him being a backup 5 with no Hartenstein and Jalen Williams. I didn't think that he would succeed in that role. But, man, he's just came in there. He's worked his butt off. He's played his role. And, he's playing confidently, and he's been great for us, and I just couldn't be more proud.
Didn't he hit the 3 at the end of the third?
That's what I said.
He did.
The buzzer beater where he showed more emotion than he has in the Thunder.
I'm sorry. I was
reading
watching Twitter now, Alex.
God dang it, man. Why am I even here? It's 1:30. I could be in bed right now.
We're just all so proud. We're just so proud.
Hey, yeah, look. Every time he does something on the floor, I'm like, that's my guy. That's our guy right there. That's our guy. So very proud, very not proud papa, but like big brother.
Shout out Linda in the chat. We put her comment up twice.
I've got to get a piece of memorabilia for the occasion. You guys continue. I'll be right back.
Oh, wow. So this means we all get to go on our phones on Twitter because Dylan's not watching. So yeah, we're very proud of Jane.
Hey man, we finally busted out of our shooting slump, I think.
Yeah.
We shot 38% from 3. And that is kind of like the
tweet I was reading. I was reading a tweet about that. So from
I
Ethan,
think that's
I don't know how to say his last name. He Baca, Baca.
That sounds right.
He's an intern for OKC Thunder SI, who I've enjoyed following recently. He says, after 2 brutal shooting nights to open the season, OKC has shot 52 for 130, 40% from downtown in their last 3 games. Season high 19 3-pointers against Portland. So, yeah, back to normal. Turns out those first 2 games weren't real, and we didn't just forget how to shoot.
something about sample size.
Something about that.
Yeah, sample size. But yeah, the offense finally woke up. I put in a part. Yeah, let's all get to the side. I had to switch the situation until Dylan gets back, so we're gonna be very zoomed in for a little bit.
I mean, why did you? I mean,
I don't know. Just was trying to get rid of the blank part of the page. I'm gonna do like a reveal when he gets back. But yeah, the offense was finally here. I put in a parlay, and I was like, we've been putting Thunder overs every game, and they've never been hitting. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put in a defensive parlay. We're going to do all the unders. We're going to do everything like very low scoring. And then it was 137 to 114. I was like, well, God damn it. Well, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen if I did this. So it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, even though the Blazers had 114, I know Simons got hurt for a little bit, but he had 9 points. And Ayton was 14 and 5. That's considerably lower.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, defensively they're still good. Dylan's back, so we're gonna do a little bit of a reveal for the YouTube. 3, 2, 1. Jang gang.
Jang gang, baby. That's
nice.
a relic. That's a relic. I think this is 1 of 1 because it was actually misprint. It's cut off. It's cut off right there. So we had to pull it from the site, but your boy got one.
We could bring him back, maybe. If he keeps this up.
Hey, it's a dope design.
This is the time to do it.
Well, we need to. We're getting some merch cooking, so maybe
I may or may not know the designer.
Once Hartenstein comes back, it may be curtains for his game playing time.
I think with how he's been playing, he might still get some minutes when Hart comes back. Who knows? That was one of my other overreactions. Is that Ooze gets minutes even after the Thunder are healthy. Let's throw that take out there. See how it sticks.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah.
Good, solid game.
You guys wanted to talk about? Dylan Duncan had early minutes today, so that was cool. Shout out to him.
We didn't technically, for the podcast listeners, recap the Spurs game. That was a YouTube exclusive, so we could throw out some real quick takes on that. Chet won the Wemby matchup, so there's that.
You think?
Yeah, 6 points for him. He did go 5-5 the next game, which is
5-5, yeah.
5-5, yeah.
In a loss.
I mean, so basically, Chet had his Wemby game tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 6 blocks though, so it was, or 5, whatever it was.
Well,
5.
yeah, I mean, he's in foul trouble the whole time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was limited for outside reasons.
I love how they called a foul. They called him for his 4th foul on Simons.
Yeah.
They did the whole challenge. They reversed it, gave him the 4th block. Next possession down, he fouls out Ayton, gets his 4th foul immediately.
This is his game for him to rest. So he better be primed to go tomorrow against.
I'm
It
worried.
really is a silver lining. Like, he barely played, and we have a back-to-back.
Yeah,
No.
I am a bit worried about that Clippers game.
Zubac is not
playing
soft.
great.
He is not soft.
Zubac has
playing
been
great.
very good. He's been very good. That Clippers team in general is very good, I think.
It's just going to be tough with James Harden, the way he plays. It's like, do we even have anybody suited to guard this guy?
Bro,
If only we had a guard that could play defense.
If only we had a guard that went to Arizona State to guard the guy who also went to Arizona State.
Or a guard from Texas A&M, or a guard from Kentucky, or a guard from Maryland. We have several in Kentucky.
I was like, where are you going on that? If only we had a guy who had his coming out party by playing defense against him in his first playoff series.
If only. If anyone in the chat knows where we can find a guard like this, please let us know in the comments. We'd be very
We'll fast track it to the Thunder. We'll get him to LA real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very excited to see Lou Dort and James Harden match up. That'll be a lot of fun for old time's sakes. Interested to see what the Clippers plan to do with Shea. Don't really think they have any
Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll do.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Norman Powell, or not defensively, but Norman Powell's also been really good this year for them. So
My daughter hates that he wears the shirt underneath all the time.
Yeah.
Could be worse. He could be wearing a loose shirt. That'd be weird.
That's true.
That
yeah.
would be weird.
Who used to do? Didn't Reggie Jackson used to do that? Didn't like his undershirt used to be like?
He just wore their normal shirt. I thought, like the tight one.
I don't know.
I thought that's
Rondo used to do it when he played at UK.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm just saying because I knew. Okay. Sheesh.
DJJ and Dunn, Chris Dunn, I assume. For
DJJ and Dunn. Yeah, Chris Dunn.
Yeah.
Has Chris Dunn been playing?
Yeah. He's been doing pretty good.
What's he been up
Oh,
to?
man, he's a phenomenal defender. I just didn't realize he was healthy. Okay.
Yeah, that seems about right.
So hey, are we done talking? Are we done talking about games?
Yeah, we're done talking about games. Let's talk about news. After a word from our sponsors. And we're back after a word from our sponsors. Alex is here to talk about what he's about to talk about before I cut him off. Go.
Yeah. So, so recently we had a horrible statue representation of Dwayne Wade being unveiled in Miami. Lawrence Fishburne was very proud of that statue.
Go ahead and pull that picture up real quick while you're talking.
But so after that, in an interview, I forgot who the interview was with, but it was Kevin Durant, and Kay Adams, and he was asked, "Hey, do you think that you're going to go ahead and get a statue anywhere?" And he basically said no. He said, statues are usually for players that stay in places for, so long and win championships and things like that.
Crazy
and
concept.
So my question to you guys is, would you be okay with a statue in Oklahoma City of Durant after time after he retires and the wounds have healed and maybe his number's already retired? Would you guys be okay with it? And the reason I say that is because, are you going to play it, I guess?
Sorry, I wasn't going to play it. I was going to put up the quote. I just have the quote up here. I mean, I can if you want, but.
I mean, I can't read it.
It says, I highly, highly doubt I get a statue
okay, here we go.
anywhere for playing basketball. It's usually those guys that got the Hall of Fame career with championships. You've been with one city for a long time. That's not the case for me.
Could have been.
So, no, but here's my thing. Yeah.
On
So
the
here's my thing.
condition that
So
we get the same sculptor as the Dwayne Wade statue.
Yeah, it's a good point, Steve.
No, here's my thing. So like OU football, you live in Oklahoma, you're either OU, you're the Cowboys, whatever. But OU football, of course, has all those Heisman winners, and so each one of those Heisman winners has a statue there. He won an MVP here. He set us up for like 7 years while he was here. I think when it's all said and done, I think he kind of maybe does deserve a statue here. I know Russell Westbrook's going to get one.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Shea's going to eventually get one. Maybe Chet.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that his time here, if you take away the 2016 exit, deserved a statue. I don't know.
I think he,
I know Jerry would vehemently disagree, but
I don't vehemently disagree. I think he deserves his number in the rafters. I don't think he deserves a statue. I think Russ deserves a statue. That's my
okay. I can see that.
That's my thought on it.
Cephalosha. Yeah, Drew.
If it's physically smaller than Russ's statue, it would be so funny.
It's like the Allen Iverson statue.
It's like demonstrably smaller. It's like a third of the size, just not even realistically close.
That'd be so funny.
They should. Okay, here's the statue for Kevin Durant. Is Russ's statue is shooting free throws, and then KD's
hold on.
over there sitting
I
on
have
the
to-
ground looking the other direction.
Steve, I have to. What are you holding in your hand? Is that eyeballs?
This is a Mr. Potato Head eyeballs.
Nice.
That threw me for a loop.
The show took a dark turn.
That was weird.
Is that
he holding
eyeballs?
eyes?
Are those eyeballs you're holding?
Is he holding
Just
eyes?
rolling eyeballs in his
Just
hands.
rolling eyes around while he's talking.
These are the eyeballs we're gonna put in the Kevin Durant sculpture.
Wow.
Yes, on a Kevin Durant sculpture, as long as it has Mr. Potato Head features that you can
There you
change.
go.
Oh, that'd be great. Mix them up. If it's a bad day, or if we lose, you can put like a little frowny face.
Put an ear where his nose goes.
Yeah, it's get a little wacky.
Yeah, I think a statue might be too much just as like a standalone. Like, I think if you were gonna have maybe like, I don't know, it feels weird to say exhibit, but like, like a section in the new arena talking about like how the team got here and like, where it came from and, its rise to prominence and, you recognize him along with other figures, then I could see it like that. But yeah, I think at this point, like, I don't know, as weird as the relationship is between the Thunder and KD, I got to see him get his jersey retired before I'm willing to accept anything else. Like, that's the first step for sure. But I wouldn't be mad if he got a statue, but it definitely has to come after Russ's statue.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
I think it has to happen after there's like enough statues that it's odd that he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Like we have like 3 or 4, and it's like now you're looking at these statues and it's the story of the franchise and it's missing the first chapter. Then I think he should get one. It's going to be like
30 years down the line.
from now.
Wait,
Yeah.
why does Aaron Wiggins have a statue?
Right.
That'd be great. I'd love an Aaron Wiggins statue.
He's just saving basketball in the
I mean,
statue.
he did. Yeah, definitely deserves it.
Or no, he's got his hands on his hips and he's got a ball like under one hand and he has a cape on, just like you say basketball.
A cupcake statue.
No, oh, okay, yeah. I thought you were talking
I
about
was
Wiggins.
reading.
I was
I was
like,
reading
why?
the chat. Sorry, I was reading the chat.
It's like, for what reason? Also in the news, also a former Warrior, talking about the Thunder. Draymond Green, said that he said a couple things that really are just questionable. One of the things he said was that the Thunder aren't serious. He kind of called them an unserious basketball team because of their post-game interviews. And he said something along the lines that they don't have like their leaders or they're not letting their stars be stars. And that's going to affect the hierarchy of the team. And I think Baron Davis was on the podcast when he talked about it. And even Baron Davis went on to say something like, yeah, because then if you don't know who your stars are, then anybody can shoot. And that's why they lost in the playoffs. And it's like, if you think we lost in the playoffs because other guys were shooting, like you didn't watch the playoffs, which I'm sure that they didn't. But he also went on to say that Shai has potential to be a superstar in this league. I don't think he's quite there yet.
Potential?
Like, brother,
we're already here.
we've been here. Like, back-to-back first-team All-NBA, consensus top 5 player in the NBA right now. I mean, I don't know. Draymond was on some BS.
It's like if you were on
I think people have this conception like you have to be a killer. You have to like have no love and not have good vibes to win a championship, because you think of like Jordan's Bulls and the Shaq Kobe Lakers, the Warriors where Draymond and KD were about to get in a fight every other day. But the Warriors won their first championship with great vibes. And let's not forget the team who the Thunder were created in the image of, the San Antonio Spurs, who won 5 championships on good vibes and camaraderie and loving each other. Like, there's more than one way to do this. And the Thunder have chosen that path. And it's like, I don't know, not surprising that Draymond would dismiss that path, but you can't historically. Like, there are teams, there are dynasties who have been built like this.
This all just sounds like the death throes of a dying dynasty. That's what it sounds like.
Or it just sounds like a guy who might be very aware of the fact that what he says can get clicks, and that he's thinking about what could potentially be successful for him as a podcaster when he is no longer in the NBA. So maybe there's a little bit of clickbait there. I don't know. But regardless, it was very silly. And I didn't actually listen to the podcast. I listened to like people talking about the podcast or the clips. And the other one that stood out to me was when Baron Davis was like gassing up Draymond and like gassing him up for his offensive abilities with like Steph out. He was being like, you can take over. And it was like, that's not Draymond. What are we talking about here? So it was just that, coupled with the other comments about the Thunder, were just like, okay, this is a very unserious podcast. This is a very not for real podcast. So I don't know. I didn't really get mad about it, because with all of that in mind, I was like, okay, we're just gonna ignore this, and this is clickbait. This is like trying to get views or whatever for whatever potential endeavors Draymond has out after the NBA, and I'm sure he does. But I think however the Thunder want to continue their success as they have been, whether it's this or they adapt and evolve their personalities beyond just the barking in the post-game interviews, it's going to happen naturally and it's going to be fine. So,
yeah.
He also had the quote in the press conference about people are talking about what Chet and Wemby can do defensively, but don't forget about Dre. And it's like,
yeah, it's very unserious.
And there have been a lot of stars who hit a different point in their career and say some version of that, like, I'm still here. Don't forget about me. Like, I can still do what I've always been able to do. And they're usually not right. Usually that means it's about over. And, people are forgetting about you correctly.
He's a barnacle.
I think death throes was the right way to say. He's just like raging against the dying of the light. He's just like, no, I'm not ready to go yet. As he's getting dragged out the door.
I would like to still be relevant, please.
Yeah. And I'll just say, we didn't cover it when we talked about the game. Shai's a quiet, like, chill, laid back guy. Like, he doesn't like draw attention to himself. He doesn't directly address any of the naysayers, but he pays attention. And like tonight, they was playing What a Pro Wants after the intros, and
what?
You muted.
Wow.
Where did he go?
He got pissed off with What a Pro Wants. Like,
did he actually leave, or was that was computer died?
Computer died. Wow.
I was like, what was that send off? I don't know what he was going to say. I don't know what he was following up that.
But regardless, Draymond was an idiot.
Yeah.
The things he was saying were idiotic. And I mean, we know that, like Steve said, there's more than one way to do this. There's more than one way to show leadership. There's more than one way to show success. And my point, we play them November 11th in OKC, and it's gonna.
Yeah, that was Dylan's final thought on that.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess I don't want to give him any more attention than what he deserves. But I will say this. So another bit of news that we've had. So they had Kevin Garnett on his own little podcast. All these NBA players got podcasts now.
They all do. Yeah.
But they had him on there, and he was completely gloating about the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was out there saying that we have 11 dogs, MFing dogs on this team. And he's right. I mean, this team is so deep that on a night like tonight, like the other team can make a small run, but we're going to go ahead and match that run, with that, regardless of when it is during the game, because all of our guys can play at any time. And so it was just good to see kind of like the bookend of Draymond's interview and then, on a podcast, and then Kevin Garnett's interview on a podcast, just seeing those, the different viewpoints that NBA heads have from time to time on this team.
Well, the Kevin Garnett Celtics were was it Ubuntu Brotherhood? Mm-hmm. Like that was their thing, right? So he's probably like, Draymond, be quiet. You can like your teammates.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Yeah, I didn't see that clip, so I'm not able to contribute. But I guess we're fans of KG.
I mean, it's like a 30-second clip. Like it's great. If you're a Thunder fan, it's great.
It's good. It's good.
I'll go watch it.
So far, so good, man. Sitting at 5-0 for the first time since the finals season.
Yep.
The Thunder have never started a season 6-0. So
no, we're gonna try
for the first time.
It's gonna be so freaking late.
You know what? They have not played a good team yet. Maybe even including the Denver Nuggets, who lost again tonight, and who have only 2 wins against lottery teams in overtime. This season. But if you don't play good teams, what else can you do except beat them by 20?
No, I really hope we get 6-0. I'm very worried. I'm very worried about that game, but we'll see. I'm gonna try to do a post game tomorrow after the game on the YouTube, but it's super late, so we'll see. So TBD on that. Real quick, so I think Dylan's not going to be able to come back. I do have one last quick thing. It'll take like 5 minutes. I have a tier list I would like to share with you all.
Okay. You just make them in your spare time now?
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah. This summer has got me addicted to tier lists. This is my week 1 power rankings of the NBA. All the teams. Okay. I'd like to share it with you. So, in the top tier, we have the title contenders. They are the Thunder and the Celtics, as you would expect.
Only 2 title contenders.
Yes.
So you're locking the finals in now.
The finals have been locked in. If the season was over today, that would be my finals. Playoff contenders are the Cavs, Mavs, Wolves, Suns, Lakers, Grizzlies, and Knicks. And then
Grizzlies got to show me something, man.
They're lower on the list for sure of the playoff contenders, but they're there. Okay. Disappointingly good.
It's higher than that, just because the East is shallow.
I think you're right. I can't move it for some reason, so I guess I'll have to figure that out later. But disappointingly good, but might be bad later, is the Clippers in their own tier. Figured that would be just something maybe we're hoping for. Maybe, question mark, is the Kings, Magic, Rockets, and Warriors. The not fun tier is the Heat and the Pacers. They're both very not fun. I've not enjoyed watching them. The Atlanta Hawks are in the Atlanta Hawks tier. I don't know what to do with them. I couldn't really figure it out as I was doing this. Everyone is hurt is the Pelicans and the Sixers. Bad but kind of fun are the Hornets, Nets, Bulls, and Wizards. Shout out Jordan Poole on that one.
That it's correct to put the Wizards in that tier, but that is such a shock from the beginning of the
No,
season.
I know.
Yeah.
And the Nets.
Yeah. Next is the bad but supposed to be good as the Bucks and the Nuggets. And then finally we have bad and a bummer. So the Jazz, Pistons, Raptors, Blazers, and Spurs. That's my tier list. I wanted to know if you guys had any thoughts on any changes there.
No, it's good. I like it.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I think there's an argument for the Blazers and the Spurs to be in the bad but kind of fun tier.
Yeah.
The Blazers, they show guys, and then the other team has Wemby, who he's entertaining. Say what you will about the guy, but there's a lot of I can't believe what he looks like.
Must see TV.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they are kind of fun.
Yeah, I'll move them. This is my draft. I just wanted to debut it on the pod. But I'm going to try to do this weekly. Dylan's back, by the way, so we'll try to throw him in. There he is. Hello, Dylan.
Hi, guys.
You missed we're wrapping up with my NBA tier list.
Let me see the bad but kind of fun tier.
Yeah, the bad but kind of fun tier is the bottom is the more interesting part of this.
I think I might.
The Hornets are better than the Hawks.
I think I might put the Hornets in the Atlanta.
But the Hornets aren't the Hawks.
Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks are in the Atlanta Hawks tier.
Who's above the Hawks then?
Above the Atlanta Hawks tier is the not fun tier.
This is not in order in any way. This is just we're putting the teams in the tiers that they belong.
Bit of order. It's in a little bit of order, not in perfect order though.
Okay.
Wait a second. Who's that above the Heat?
Above the Heat is the maybe tier.
Kings.
Yeah. It's the maybe question mark tier. And above that is
the Hornets in the maybe tier, honestly.
Okay. I'll consider that for sure.
Hawks tier, personally.
I thought about that. We could do another when we did the dog tier list. I think about this often, by the way. It makes me laugh every time. We had the Markieff Morris tier list, and we put Markieff Morris in it naturally, but then we also put Deontay Burton. So
we did.
Deontay Burton in the Markieff Morris tier list was always so funny to me, and I've always wanted to mimic that at some point. Maybe we do it here, or not. But this is my draft. I'll make my changes after the pod, but I wanted to debut it. And
they're not largely dissimilar, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same. So it kind of makes sense.
Speaking of the Hornets,
Trey Mann,
6th man of the year, baby,
popping off. There's a point there as he's gonna single-handedly beat the Celtics, and I was like, God damn.
He's done it before.
He did that once. Yeah. In a quarter.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, speaking of the Hornets, you could watch them play against our lovely Oklahoma City Thunder.
Nice. Good plug.
And March 21st, you can see all of our lovely faces, maybe even possibly Stephen Dolan's. We don't know.
Maybe.
But
maybe
I commit to nothing.
Maybe.
It just lagged so hard. Alex just his maybe went do re mi all the way up the scales. It was amazing. But yeah, no, it's going to be a great game. LaMelo Ball is playing out of his mind. Trey Mann playing out of his mind. Brandon Miller's coming back soon. They've got a really fun young team. Obviously, the Thunder are great at basketball. You get to see a fun game. You get to see our lovely faces. You get to go down to the court, take a group picture. The biggest group picture that Topic Thunder's taken, dare I venture to say. And also at the end, we get to gather around to take a half-court shot on the Thunder court. And if you make that shot, you get a basketball signed by the entire Oklahoma City Thunder roster.
What?
And
it's crazy.
As we said, we are eligible for this. And I would love to just put that basketball right here.
Right. It'll go right here on my desk right here.
It'll go right here on my shoulder. Every podcast we have
here
on my shoulder.
Right here.
And Dylan's Dylan's glitching.
I've been working on my backward shot at the gym. I think I'm going to go with the backward shot when we do this event.
Okay, Rumble.
Yeah, I've been working on it. I think we're going to debut
Dolan,
it.
what are you gonna do when you shoot it?
Yeah, Dolan, what are you going to do
Make
when you
it.
shoot? So, okay, Dolan's going. Great.
Oh,
That
means he's
that
coming.
is that is legally binding by the letter of the law. Dolan will be there in Oklahoma City. Wow.
And then I'm just going
Saul
to play
Goodman's
with
my lawyer. It's happening.
I'm just going to use it as my regular basketball that I play with.
That would be hilarious and not a smart idea at
That's
all,
crazy.
but hilarious.
Dude, my buddy Alex was freaking out because I have that I have this jersey that I got signed by Shea at the game last year, and I had nachos, and I was excited during the game, and I was jumping.
Dylan's lagging. We're gonna.
All right,
we're gonna-
nacho.
All right.
Thank
Thank
We're
you
gonna
for
go and
tuning
end it.
in to the Topic Thunder podcast. Everybody have a great night. Hoop when you can, and as always,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
and as
Thunder
always,
up.
Did you get nacho cheese on the jersey?
yeah. Let's finish with that. Did you
I
get
didn't.
nacho cheese? Okay.
No.
good.
I
Okay.
didn't.
We
were
resolved
on-
that
We're good.
conflict.
We were on Twitter. We didn't hear it.
Yeah.
The
Thunder
story.
up.
Thunder
Thunder
up.
up.
Thunder up, I guess.